These are all the bits that you can control, because we can't control our kids as hard as we may try. Hi everyone, Caitlin here from ChildWise. Welcome to ChildWise Chatter. So, when we're trying to make a shift in the way we are as parents, or the way we're experiencing being a parent, it can be really hard to know where to start. So today I want to share with you 5 really small actions that you can take that are going to create big shifts in how you experience being a parent. Now, the best thing about these 5 actions is that they are not more things to add to your to-do list. They're basically just 5 things to notice. And this idea of just noticing, of getting curious, is a big part of what I teach in my work with parents. So the first action I want to talk about is to just notice what your relationship is like with yourself. Now, this is a biggie. What we know about creating a secure attachment for our children, which is like the number 1 goal in parenting, we know it's the thing that sets kids up for success in all walks of life more than anything else, is our own attachment relationship. So how securely we sort of feel in ourselves, how secure we feel in ourselves. And a lot of that is to do with our own past experience of being a child, of being in a relationship with our own caregivers early in life. And it's not to say if that didn't go so well that we can't do anything about it, because there's loads we can do about it. And one of the very first things we can do is just to start to notice how we talk to ourselves, how we perceive ourselves. What are the things we're saying to ourselves on a daily basis? So this is your action number 1. Just notice how you are with yourself. If you want to know more about this whole idea of attachment, it's a big part of the work that I do. So just sing out, and I've got a really fabulous worksheet that I can send to you. Okay, action number 2, daily intentions and reflections. So if we can wake up in the morning and kind of give ourselves a bit of an intention, not something that we cling to, not like a goal that, right, today I need to get this done, but like an intention, okay? Like, for example, today I'm going to get curious. And then at the end of the day, just reflect on how that was. We're going to really start to be able to move in a direction with focus. So, like when you're looking for a new car and you've chosen a car and you start to see it everywhere you go. When we have an intention, it gives our brain something to focus on. So a great thing to have and as an intention is to notice the little things that you can celebrate in your relationship with your child, even if they're teeny, tiny. So maybe there is a time in your day when normally you would not be able to pay attention to your child, but you make a choice, you make an intention in the morning that, okay, today I'm going to really, at least once, just give my focused attention, my presence to my little person. And then at the end of the day, you can reflect on whether or not that happened and what was the effect of it. So the more you can do this, the more you can start to notice those little tiny areas, that are going well. The more your sort of bigger perspective, your bigger focus will start to shift, and your whole perspective of your family, of yourself as a parent, of your children might start to shift in a more positive direction. Number 3, notice when you are using labels for your children. Now, this is a really hard one because we can get stuck in labels. Oh, they're my really difficult child. Yes, they're so stubborn. Oh, my little guy, he's such a monkey. He's so naughty. So just noticing when we're doing this, because this is a big part of what can get in the way of our ability to be present in a moment. If we've got this preconceived label for our child, we'll see them through that lens. So just start to notice where you're doing that. You don't need to force a shift just yet, but just noticing will go a long way. Action number 4, Notice when you are feeling your sympathetic nervous system activated. So this is all about noticing your body. So we get these cues in our body that a lot of us are not used to paying attention to. So we might say that, gosh, I just go from 0 to 100 in a heartbeat. And this used to be me very much. Like I wouldn't feel it coming and I would just get really angry and explode and do things I didn't want to be doing. So starting to notice what our body does when we feel stressed, when we start to feel that rise. And for me, I like get hot ears. You might get sort of hunched shoulders. Your ears might even, like noise might become really, really hard to bear. You might kind of have a bit of a muffle kind of sound in your ears. Heart might start to beat faster. You might get a clenchy feeling in your stomach. So just starting to tune into those sensations in your body will really help you to catch those cues. And then the last thing, which goes hand in hand with this ability to notice what's happening in our body, is to find for ourselves what I call an anchor. So if you think of the idea of an anchor, it's like it's the big heavy thing that a boat or a ship will put down, possibly in the midst of a storm, you know, to keep themselves centered, to keep themselves from getting blown away and swept away in the craziness of a storm. So we can think of an anchor for ourselves in exactly the same way. Like we don't have to stop the emotions that we're having or the experience, the way we're experiencing the situation, but we can have an anchor that just kind of centers us, that moors us, and gives us a little bit of choice in how we might want to be responding. So an anchor it's basically just something that we can focus our attention on to kind of stop that reactivity, to stop that pattern response of yelling or, you know, wanting to run away or, you know, just getting really, really mad with our kids and doing things we don't want to be doing. So there's lots of ways you can use an anchor, or lots of types of anchors that you can start to cultivate and use. It might be something like, it might be a physical object. Like I have a beautiful little piece of rose quartz that I sometimes just keep in my pocket, so I can just put my hand, if I have pockets at the time, put my hand in my pocket and just feel that object, and automatically, you know, that signifies love to me, and I can remind myself that, you know, that I have this love for my boys and my family. So it could be a physical object. It could be verbal. It could be like a little mantra that you say in your head. Just something really simple like, I've got this, I can do this, I can handle this. Just something really simple. So when you notice that reactivity in your physiology, you can give yourself that little mantra that just puts your anchor down and grounds you in the storm. It could be like a memory. So this is a really nice one to try. You know, really thinking about a time when everything felt right with the world. You know, maybe it was the first time you held your baby in your arms. Maybe it's when you watch your children sleeping. And, you know, you really feel that sense of unconditional love and just all being well. So just being able to close your eyes and just put yourself in that memory can be a really great anchor to use. It could be an action. So we talk a lot about taking deep breaths. That works for some people. For some people, they don't like it at all. So things like box breathing, counting your breaths in, counting your breaths out can be a really great anchor to use. Some people love water. That's another great anchor to use, either running your hands under a tap, under cold water, or taking like a nice slow mindful sip of some water can be a really great anchor to try. So you can just experiment with these things, try out some different anchors. Sometimes you need a different one in different scenarios, but having a few up your sleeve that you've thought about ahead of time can be really useful, and that's just going to break up that reactivity. So this is all about just noticing what's happening for yourself, and these are all the bits that you can control, because we can't control our kids as hard as we may try. Thanks so much for watching. I'd love to hear if this was helpful for you. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye.